Hello again, gamers. Welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I'm the Captain, and today I'm going to be reviewing this extra item, this expansion for the One Ring role-playing game. It is the One Ring Loremaster's Screen and Rivendell Compendium. So I want to give a big thank you to Free League Publishing, who sent me this, as well as the starter set and the game to review. Thank you very much, Free League Publishing. Before I get too into this, I do want to say I've got a ton of links in the description down below that you can check out at your leisure. There's a link to BoardGameCaptain.com, a great hub for all things Board Game Captain. There's a link to my Teespring store. You can get yourself some cool Board Game Captain merch. And there's a link to my Patreon if you'd like to support the channel. All right, we're going to jump right into this. So when you get this, it's all wrapped in plastic. You have this sheet on the back with the description. I'm going to read the description. A deluxe Loremaster screen in landscape format for the second edition of the One Ring role-playing game. It features beautiful art on the outside and a host of useful tables and important information on the inside, while keeping the Loremaster's screen hidden from the eyes of inquisitive players. The Rivendell Compendium contains information about the last homely house, including a map of the valley and a plan of the house itself. Some of Rivendell's inhabitants are included, including Elrond, who can be used as a new patron. Finally, there are also new rules for how to create High Elf player heroes. Okay, so let's start with the screen. There's a lot to cover here, but I'm going to start with what you get when you buy this. So first, we've got the screen. Now, if you open it up, you've got this big piece of beautiful, absolutely beautiful artwork. I'm going to just show this up here. One big panorama of art, but you've got a lot of characters in there. You've got, as you can see, some heroes and some orcs, some villains. So on the hero side, it looks like Gandalf, as well as possibly like an Aragorn type character and a Hobbit. Now, I don't know of a specific scene from The Lord of the Rings where you would have had these characters in particular, so this may be meant to be more like player characters in the actual game. So this is very cool. And then on the back, we have what you would expect from a Game Master screen done right. You have tons, and I do mean tons, of tables. We have special success table to give you all the special successes for the extra sixes you roll. You have risk levels. You have conditions, miserable, weary, wounded. You have advantages. You have complications. You have adversary special damage options. You have when to roll. You have endurance, resting, first aid, a whole table for sources of injury and what those injuries do, whether they are moderate, severe, or grievous. You have a wound severity table, a council structure, journey rolls, marching tests, event target, perilous areas, journey events table, sources of dread, and sources of shadow, as well as misdeeds and how many shadow points doing said misdeeds will give you in the game. This is a lot of great information that as a Game Master you're going to want in front of you. This is a really well done Game Master screen with a beautiful piece of artwork on the back. If this was all that was in here, would already be getting a very positive rating from me. But it's not all that's in here. There's a book in here. The One Ring Guide to Rivendell. Now, this book is the same size as the books that come in the starter set, and I checked. You can easily fit this in the starter set. You can put it in the box with your other books, and this is a small staple binding soft cover book with 12 pages only. It's fairly short, but they pack a lot of info in here. So first off, you have a full-on guide to Rivendell as a location, and then with the information here, you could have Rivendell be your home base, especially if one of your characters might be a high elf. Next, we have Elrond as a patron. And that's another reason why Rivendell might be your home base, because Elrond is the one sending you on these adventures. Then also as major NPCs, in addition to Elrond, we have Arwen, we have Aladdin and Elrohir, which are the older brothers of Arwen. We have Arestor, Glorfindel, and then we have, and this is really, really cool, the ability to make a high elf character. And I was curious, I went and compared it to the elves in the main book. It is not the same. They're similar, but there are significant differences, and they even get their own set of virtues for the high elves that are different than the virtues for the other elves in the main One Ring book. Yeah, okay, so I have often said when I review these Game Master screens that as great as a Game Master screen is, because of the limited amount of content that comes in a Game Master screen, I never go above maybe an 8, maybe a 9 in incredible circumstances. People often ask me, well, I don't understand. What was wrong with it? Why couldn't you give it 10 stars? This has been a common question in reviews of Game Master screens I've done in the past. And my general answer is, well, it's not that it did anything wrong. It's that a Game Master screen is a very restricted and basic kind of upgrade to a game. If the screen is good, I'm going to give it a very positive rating. But it doesn't have a whole lot in there. It's just a Game Master screen. I'm really just rating it on, did they pick some good stuff for the tables on the back of the screen? And did they pick good artwork? And in that regard, yes and yes, they did. They did that. But then they did this. This is fantastic. I love having this extra little 10-page book in here, 12-page book in here, that not only gives you a fully fleshed out explanation of another important area of the world that they didn't cover in much detail in the One Ring book. This is not repeated information in there, but also game-wise, they give you information on using Elrond as your patron and making characters that are high elves. Okay, this is an auto include. I feel like all three of the products, I'm going to yank the other products out here that I've already reviewed. I've got the One Ring and I've got the starter set. I've already done reviews on both of these. I feel like all three of these products, if you're going to really want to get into it, you should get all three of them because they're all fantastic. Now, if you want to just start with one to see if you like it, start with the starter set. The starter set is where it's at as an entry point. But then once you're going to move on to getting the One Ring book, get the One Ring Game Master screen and Guide to Rivendell. These are fantastic, absolutely amazing additions. And like I said, while I have never done this before, ever, I am going to give this Game Master screen, mainly because of it coming with this amazingly enjoyable to read and fantastic to use extra bit of information, you know, with some actual playable bits, a new character, a new patron, as well as a new location, all coming just with the Game Master screen. I'm going to give this 10 out of 10 stars. This entire batch of role-playing game products, I think, as its entirety, and because this is the last of the reviews I'm doing on this system, I've always been a fan of Free League Publishing. Most of their games are good to great. I absolutely love their products, but this is just, I mean, not just hit out of the park. This is like a grand slam out of the park into the next county, this release. This is phenomenal. 10 out of 10 stars for the Game Master screen and the Guide to Rivendell. I absolutely love this. And like I said, if you're going to get the One Ring role-playing game book, pick this up too. Get it too. If you're ordering one, get the other. Just get it. All three of these products are fantastic and go really, really well together. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns on this video, feel free to put them in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this review of a role-playing game product and you'd like to see me do more like it, be sure to give it a like, share it on all forms of social media. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Captain. That's Captain spelled with a K on YouTube. And until next time, game on.